Auzubillahi minash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Rabbi zidni ilma. Oh Allah, increase my knowledge. I hope you people are doing well. The last time we have studied about preposition of time. This time we are studying about the preposition of place. Everybody is getting my voice clear? Okay. Now I start the preposition of place. It's as important as preposition of time, and it's as confusing also, because most of the time not only you students but adults are also confused when to use which preposition. Now we are starting with this same preposition. The preposition is a word or phrase that connect a noun or pronoun to a verb or an adjective. Preposition is a connecting word. In that sense, it connects a noun and pronoun to the rest of the sentence. Examples are again the same one: by, at, in, on, with, under, over, and so on. And the examples are meet me at my home. She is in the school. I'm right now with my friend. The dog is hiding under the table. The boy is jumping over the fence, and so on. Now, what is the today's topic is preposition of place. A preposition of a place is preposition which used to refer to a place where something or someone is located. There are only 3 prepositions of place. However, they can be used to discuss an almost endless number of places. The first one is at, the second one is in, and the third one is on. These 3 prepositions we use to describe the preposition of place, and these 3 prepositions are used in numerous ways and endless places. First of all, we are starting with at. A preposition of place which is used to discuss a certain point. Do you remember when we studied the preposition of time? At was for the specific time. Okay, at preposition was used for the specific time. Here in preposition of place, at is used for a specific location. When we are talking about certain point, a specific location, that is when we are going to use at. In is a preposition which is used to discuss an enclosed space. Which is used to discuss an enclosed space, it means which something inside it, just like which have boundaries, which has edges, and something is inside the edges. That is when we will use the preposition in. On is again is exactly when we are talking about a surface. Okay, if something is on a surface, a big flat surface, when we are talking about a big flat surface, we use the preposition on. Now, preposition of place. What is the use of preposition of place? It allows us to be very specific when we are talking about where some actions is taking place, what is happening in a story, and when we discuss important details for communication purpose. Then we use these specific things. Now I will give you some examples of. I will give you some examples of. Can you see my screen? Excuse me. Larry, everyone can see my screen?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Now here we are starting with preposition in. Okay. When we use in while in a sentence, when we are using, we are talking about the location. So when we are talking about a country, we always use in. I told you, the in is used for the enclosed space. Enclosed space means when there are some boundaries. Not exactly, sometimes the boundaries are not obvious. It is always not a box which has four boundaries or edges, but in a country is also, it also have a bond, the countries also have boundaries, which is invisible one. Okay, so whenever we are talking about the country, we will use in. Okay, just like I'm right now, I'm living in England. Okay, lots of people work in America. We use lots of products which are made in China. So when we are talking about the countries, we use the preposition in, just like in Brazil. Cities. When we are talking about cities, we also use the preposition in. In London, in Karachi, nowadays there is lots of thing going on in Karachi. The economic activities are have been started in Karachi. I went in Tokyo. There is a big fair nowadays. So for the cities also, we use the preposition in. So as I told you, in, we use the preposition in when we are talking about something which is within a certain space. And that is, there's a key in my pocket, there is milk in my cup. Sometimes the surroundings, the edges are obvious, sometimes it's not obvious, but we pretend, just like in city, we pretend there are boundaries and someone is living in the city. I live in Karachi. Okay, my friends live in Lahore. Now for the neighborhood also, we use the preposition in. Just like in a small village in Gilgit, I went in at summer. I went in Gilgit in Baltistan. When we are talking about enclosed space, in a traffic jam, in Times Square, in a building, in a car, in a kitchen, in the north, in the south, in the newspaper, okay, in the journal, in the book, in the mirror, in the queue, in the cinema, and in the prison. You see, all this enclosed space, we use the preposition in. Now, let's see, in a traffic jam, I will be late. I'm stuck in a traffic jam. She is living in a building. Just a few minutes, I will be there because I am in a car. My mother is cooking in the kitchen. Here also sometimes we get confused. Whenever we are talking about home, we don't use the preposition in. It's never I am in home. It's always I am at home. But when we are talking about the kitchen or some specific area of our home, we use the preposition in. I am in kitchen. Right now, my father is sitting in living room. Okay, and the same way when we are talking about direction, we use in the north, in the south. uh, she has gone to in the newspaper. This article was printed in the newspaper, in the journal. This chapter is in the book. It's not on the book, it's not at the book, it's in the book. That means book is a certain space, certain enclosed space, and it's inside it. I'm looking myself in the mirror. You see mirror, there is four edges of the mirror, there are four boundary, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror. He is standing in a queue. Right now we are in the cinema. The thief is in the prison. Where is the thief? Thief is in the prison. These are used uh, for the places which, as I told you, for the enclosed places. You can have lots of many others examples. I see a house in the picture. Again, the picture, you see the boundary, for boundary, the frame. So we are using here the preposition in. There are trout in the river. Okay, because the fish is not flowing on the surface of the water, they are always inside the water. That's why we are using in this sentence. There are trout in the river. He lives in Paris. You see, Paris is a city, and then because we have an imaginary boundary of a city, so we are using here the preposition in. I found a picture in the paper. Okay, here it's a newspaper, not an ordinary paper. In the newspaper, he sits in the corner of a room. He sits in the corner of a room. He sits in the back of the car. There is a big tree in the middle of the garden. Again, the garden is an enclosed space. It's not an open one. When we say garden, we have in mind there is a boundary and the trees. So it's an enclosed space. So we use the preposition in with the garden. She likes walking in the rain. My cousin lives in the country. There are kites in the sky. He plays in the street. She lives in a hotel. The boy stands in a line. You see, I told you the queue. Now, these are lots of sentences. These are lots of words. How you will remember all these words? Simply by practicing. Whenever, make a chart of in, on, at, and paste it on the wall. So whenever you are talking about something, just learn the whole phrase, not in. I'm in Pakistan, in America, in China, in Brazil. When we are talking about the traffic enclosed space in a traffic jam, I'm in a building. Right now, I'm in a car. My mother is in the kitchen. She is not on the kitchen. She is in the kitchen. He's playing in the north side of the house. I read this news in the newspaper. So that's how you will learn these preposition of places, which are little bit tricky and confusing.